Hello and welcome to the Saintly Sounder, your source for all things FIFA. Today we have another player review. It is Moussa Sow, and due to some technical difficulties, I had some issues with the typical flag intro there. But despite the fact it looks like an Atari 2600, we are going to move on. Alright, so his in-game stats were pretty good, a little over a point per game with 36 games played, 22 goals, and 16 assists. Now, a lot of these weren't in Division 1, full disclosure. He did feel like an 80 overall, which is nice. His shot power upgrade is very good for a player that is only 13,000 on the Xbox. Again, here's the squad I used. It kind of cut out weird again. Still don't know why it's doing that. I will try to fix it later. But here's the squad, very sweaty. Cuadrado, Emenike, Sow up top, Melo, Hernandez, Guarin in the middle, and then a pretty Brazilian PSG back line. Alright, so despite my eternal struggle with Microsoft, this is what really matters, the in-game footage, and Sow is a pretty good player. Here he's going to get a breakaway. I wanted to showcase first and foremost his getaway, stay-away speed, as I like to call it. There, David Luiz can't catch him, and he's going to bury it in the back of the net. Pace-wise, I would definitely say he can create breakaways on his own, with a special note that if you're going against the true sweaty defenders in the game, you might have some issues. His long shots were really hit or miss. I attempted 20 and scored 2, with this one being one of them. If you do rely heavily on long shots from your strikers, I would be a little concerned recommending him. But at left forward, if you don't rely on it too much, he can get up there and surprise you on occasion. Since you'll most likely be deploying him in left wing or left forward, his interplay with his strikers and center attacking mids are really important. Here he's going to link up with Emenike quite nicely, stay involved in the play the whole time without checking off, and be able to be open for a pretty easy and routine ball. Guarin finds him nicely. It's just a nice one touchdown before finishing it in the back of the net. Overall, you can feel fairly safe in playing him the ball and using him in your build-up play without having to worry too much. His decent dribbling and good strength combination makes him really good for these kind of balls, getting down to the end line than playing across a really cheesy ball. He's got a lot more strength than most left wingers and will be able to hold off a lot of challenges quite well, and that can be a real asset for any team. Wide players are expected to get the ball in. Now, I use him at left forward, so it wasn't as common of an occurrence, but Sow is okay at crossing the ball. As you're going to see here, he's going to find the back post run of Emenike, who's going to score it nicely. More often than not, he will find the player that you're looking for when you cross the ball in. I only would knock him a little bit because he's not as consistent as I would like out of a player. But to be honest, I mean, you get what you see in the card stats. It's only a 71. There he whips in a good ball. It just no one gets ahead on it. No fault to him. But this clip highlights another factor of Sow's game. He doesn't feel too stiff on the ball, so he can weave in and out. And when you get it on his right foot, he does have enough power and good finishing to get the ball in the back of the net. If I needed a player to compare his shot to in his dribbling, I'd compare it to Balotelli, who's not overly good at either one, but his shot power and finishing make up for it quite well. So instead of an up-down final analysis where I just give a rating for pace, strength, I'm going to try something a little different, maybe a little more unique. Tell me what you think of it. I'm going to review players based on how well they do in really common situations. I give him a total out of 8.5. His inside the 18 shooting is really good. His shot power and his finishing mean that more often than not, if you get it on his right, you're going to score. I give him an 8 out of 10 in long shots because despite the fact that he missed quite often, compared to other players at the position, he's actually quite decent, and you can feel confidence, especially due to that shot power, to take shots from 30 to 40 yards out and have at least a fair shot of troubling the keeper. As you saw in the first clip, I give his breakaways an 8.7 out of 10. He's not a true speed demon, but he has more than enough pace to breeze by most defenders, and once you get by a defender, you don't need too much space, especially due to his strength, to be able to stay away. And again, due to his good finishing and shot power, he's going to convert most breakaways for you. His chance creation for others, I'd give it an 8.2 out of 10. His passing can let him down, but he does fill the role of a support striker fairly well, especially at left forward where that's a lot of the duties. He definitely can support well. I wouldn't try any crazy balls with him though, and overall he's pretty decent at it. Crosses, I give him a 7.8 out of 10. He finds most people most of the time, which is more than you can say for some people. But that being said, you can't count on him to whip in 10 crosses and find the head of the guy 9 times, for example. When it comes to skill dribbling, I give him an 8 out of 10. He's not the greatest, so don't get too carried away, but he can do fake shots, left trigger, right trigger dribbling, pullbacks all very nicely. I just wouldn't feel fully comfortable recommending that you launch a run where you have to beat 5 guys with him. Now finally, despite the fact one drive corrupted and I couldn't really show you guys the headers on video, he was fairly decent. Given his height, I give him an 8.8 out of 10. There's not many guys who are 5'10 and play on the wings that are going to be able to get their ball consistently on their head and win most aerial challenges. Moussa Sow is that guy. Overall, I recommend him, especially if you need him for a link to Emenike, and at 13,000 on the Xbox, you really can't go wrong just giving this guy a test and seeing if he's right for you. For some of you, I have a feeling he's going to be absolutely crazy. Alright, so if you found this at all interesting or helpful, like and subscribe. I'm on Twitch at the Saintly Sounder. I try to do daily broadcast. I try to do some giveaways there. I'm on Twitter at the Red Death 329 if that's your thing. Again, I apologize for some of the Microsoft Paint issues. I kind of have lost the ability to edit things the way I normally do in terms of creatively designing and publishing things. So I do just have to work with what I've got right now. I apologize if that's really distracting. Hopefully the content more than made up for it though. Until next time, see you on the pitch.